Shalom and welcome back to Talking Torah. I'm Rabbi Ravid Tilles, and I'm joined today by our education director, the principal of our Hebrew school, and just one of the greatest assets that we have in the Merrick Jewish Centre community, Mora Helena Eilenberg. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here in the Center for Jewish Life because we're getting ready for our very special service this Saturday morning, the CJL service that Mora Helena and I have been running the last few months. That has been going very, very well. So join us. It's a time change, slight time change. We're going to have breakfast at 10 a.m. and we're going to begin the minyan at 10:15 this coming Saturday morning. So join us for breakfast at 10 a.m. and for the service at 10:15. It's going to be great. And Mora Helena, I can't help but notice that you're wearing green today.
I had a feeling you would notice.
Yeah.
And I happen to notice that you're wearing a green kippah.
Oh, this little thing? Oh, just a green kippah, not a big deal, yeah.
Yeah, and we picked this spot because of the green cloth
Right.
on the Torah stand. So I'm wearing green because today we, at our Hebrew school, our Gimel class is doing a presentation about Tu B'Shvat and saving the environment. And so we're starting an entire recycling for the entire synagogue. So the Gimel class is promoting that, and so the whole school today is wearing green.
That's wonderful. And this is all part of our Green Week initiative, which we've been carrying out throughout the course of the week in honor of Tu B'Shvat. So definitely look out for those green bins, those recycling bins, those Town of Hempstead recycling bins that will be put out throughout the school to try to make this a more environmentally friendly place to be. Thank you so much. So let's get into the Torah portion. So this week's portion is a huge portion, Parshat Yitro, and one of the reasons it's so big is because it has the Ten Commandments, and we all know the Ten Commandments, Charlton Heston, and all that, from Charlton Heston fame. But the Ten Commandments are a central piece of our tradition, and if for the most part, if somebody had to say what are the 10 most important, the top 10 list, right? The David Letterman top 10, what are the top 10 mitzvot? You could easily look at the 10 Commandments and say, oh, well, there they are. But I do wonder sometimes, are the 10 Commandments as they stand, are they still the central piece of our tradition? What do you think?
Well, I think, thinking about the Ten Commandments, I guess for me, they are our foundation, definitely. But I also think that certainly an example is the environment and our focus on the environment, that the Ten Commandments are a symbol of everything, the basic foundation of Judaism, but they're also a sign that Judaism has evolved and grown. And I think that's one of the beauties of Judaism, that it does evolve and that it is not trapped in the past, and that we build on the Torah. And so even though environmental laws are in the Torah, it's certainly not the focus of the Ten Commandments, but as Judaism has evolved, we as a people have taken on more responsibility about the environment.
So here's a question. I'm going to go ahead and just ask you an opinion question for you, okay? Well, would you like to see, if we were going to make a modern day Ten Commandments, would you want to see environmental ethic there as in the Ten Commandments? Would you like to see that?
It's a really great question. I don't know. I mean, I think that certainly we need to take care of our world. We need to take care of our environment. I would have to really look at the Ten Commandments, see which one I would take out to put in the focus for the environment. But maybe if it wasn't in the top 10, maybe it should be 11.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point, right? When I think about the Ten Commandments, I see them as the kind of outline. If you were making an outline, they're the A, and all the other mitzvot are the bullet points that go under it, the 1, 2, 3, 4. And when it comes to something like environmental ethic, right, I like to think that the commandment that most speaks to that is, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, okay? Because when we think about how we relate to the earth, we need to understand that as how we relate to God. Because God, as we believe, is the source of life, is the creator of the world. And so the way we treat the world is, in fact, the way that we treat God. And so when we see that first, and then that's number one. Ten Commandments, it's number 1. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Don't forget that God has this power, the power that brought us out of the land of Egypt, the power that created the world. And therefore, we owe it to God, and therefore to each other and all the other creatures of the earth, to really care for the world just like God has cared for us. So, in some ways, I might actually argue that going green is there. It's just one of the bullet points under number 1 in the Ten
And
Commandments.
certainly if you look at Bereshit, if you look at Genesis at the first chapter, man is given a responsibility
Right.
to care for the world. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 11.
Yeah, it's number 1, 1A.
1A.
1A, it's part of 1. Very good. Well, thank you so much. You know, it's these kinds of conversations that really fuel the CJL service, and I'm really looking forward to it this Saturday morning. Also, this Friday night, we're going to have a whole conversation about environmental ethic in Judaism, right after Friday night services. So we're going green, we're thinking about the environment, we're thinking about Israel and our ties to the environment out there. We always are thinking about Israel, of course.
And in terms of JNF, in terms of giving money for trees in Israel, that's also very much a part of this in terms of building Israel's environment as well, helping to build Israel's environment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the core. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Maura Helena, for joining us.
Thank you, Rabbi Tilles.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of you since you happen to work here in the building. And
I'd like that.
And that would really be special. We really appreciate your insight. So thanks again, and Lahitro.
Shabbat Shalom.